Well, I think that one key thing to start with is to understand that supply chains, including in the retail sector, in the processing sector, in the logistics sector, the wholesale sector, have already been changing extremely quickly for the past 30 years in Africa and Asia and Latin America. With the supermarket revolution, with the rise of large processors, with wholesale markets expanding, but also new wholesale and logistics modern firms arising. And so those changes that have been occurring have relied very much on the marketing side in reducing transaction costs and increasing diversity and quality and reducing the cost to consumers of products. Okay, so they've been able to be competitive. And then on the procurement side, their own reliance on supply chains from farmers and from small and medium enterprises and others within the supply chain, they've been modernizing as well, reducing procurement costs through reducing transaction costs, imposing quality standards on suppliers, safety standards. They've been building networks of distribution centers nationally and regionally and globally. So the changes that have been already occurring in the supply chain in terms of marketing and in terms of procuring from upstream from the farms and other suppliers have already been changing the food system. And I think that the introduction of digital innovations, for example, e-commerce, for example, e-procurement, where you're using digital platforms for procurement from suppliers, are accelerating and deepening the transformations that have already been afoot in the supply chains. And in a way, it's deepening and speeding them because it's reducing further the transaction costs and broadening the access of suppliers to buyers and buyers to suppliers. So I think that in that sense, the acceleration of the supply chain transformation will bring benefits to consumers, increases in market access to suppliers, and employment opportunities through the diversification of activity. That's the opportunity side. On the other side, there's potential challenges that could emerge from that because first, you're obviously increasing competition by easing access to market. Second, you're increasing the ease that buyers have, like supermarkets and large processors, to communicate and impose and monitor private standards, demanding private standards, for example, in terms of quality and safety on suppliers. So small and medium enterprises and small farms will be more efficiently facing the market in that sense. And if the market is evolving toward being more demanding, small farmers and small and medium enterprises will have those challenges while also having the opportunity of enlarging the market. On the other side, these small and medium enterprises and the small farmers will also have tools and instruments and weapons, essentially, that they can use to make themselves more competitive in the market. They will be able to access digital technologies that could improve the efficiency of their own organization. They can attain easier relations with suppliers, through the transaction cost cutting elements of e-commerce and e-procurement. They can themselves use those techniques and those linkages in the market to obtain information and inputs and even perhaps organize collective action to be able to augment the overall scale of them in an aggregate sense, even if each individual is small. So there's a knife edge in any change that occurs in an economy. When innovation occurs, there's winners and losers, but there's also a knife edge where, depending on the circumstances that small farmers and small and medium enterprises find themselves in, they might very much benefit from this change, or they might be excluded. And so that means that there's opportunity for the World Bank and for others to work to assist the suppliers, especially the small-scale suppliers, to maximize their realization of benefit from this intensification and acceleration of supply chain transformation from digital innovation.